The budget decision, which has caused the biggest Conservative Party split in decades, is set to be scrapped later today when the new Work and Pensions Secretary, Stephen Crabb, confirms a U-turn on the controversial disability benefit cuts.
Well, with talk of a civil war breaking out now among Conservative ranks, the Prime Minister will face MPs for the first time since the rift when he makes a statement to the Commons. But what about the opposition? The Labour leader, Jeremy Corbyn, now joins us from our Westminster studios. Mr Corbyn, welcome to you. How many of them should resign? Give me a ballpark figure.
Well, we've already had the resignation of Iain Duncan Smith. I think it's the Chancellor of the Exchequer who should be going. The Chancellor of the Exchequer put forward a budget that simply doesn't add up. If you take the £4 billion that he's trying to take away from those who receive personal independence payments, then where's he going to get the money from elsewhere unless he cancels the tax breaks at the other end of the scale? He put forward a budget that was based on taking money away from those with disabilities.
Okay, where would you get the money from to fill that hole?
Stop the tax cut at the corporation tax level and the capital gains tax level.
Now, in your when you stood up to speak against this budget in the House of Commons last Wednesday, there were only 2 references in your speech to the cuts on disability benefits. It took the resignation of the Work and Pensions Secretary, Iain Duncan Smith, to force a U-turn on this. He's done your work for you, hasn't he?
Well, I referred to it straight away in my speech. We launched an online petition the following morning from the Labour Party website. We mounted the biggest campaign we could on it as quickly as we could, as did many, many other people all over the country. Iain Duncan Smith then resigned, having discovered that he had a conscience after all, having presided over enormous cuts in disability benefits over the past 4 years, particularly for those trying to, or those being told they're able to work when they clearly were not. And the issue is not yet over, because we now learn that Stephen Crabb, the new secretary, is going to cancel this particular cut, but they're going to look for savings from the DWP budget, because the government has put forward a budget that has unfairness at its very core.
It's not going to the Labour Party over this, is it? It's this extraordinary resignation on a point of principle by somebody who says that they appear to be aghast at what's going on within the Conservative Party. You know, the U-turn over tax credits was as a result of action in the House of Lords. Do you feel like your voice isn't being heard on this?
It was overturned in the House of Lords, the tax credit cut, because it was Labour MPs in the Commons and Labour peers in the Lords and the Labour Party's campaign that ensured they were forced to retreat on that. This one, we raised it immediately in my response to the budget. We've raised it immediately as a party. We're very, very clear that our whole purpose is to defend the budget for those who are in receipt of PIP payments, because it gives them the opportunity to live independently.
Okay,
the issue is not done with yet. As we now know, Stephen Crabb proposes to take it from somewhere else in the budget. He is doing the work that George Osborne is set him to do.
OK, Mr Corbyn, here's the problem, it seems to me, for you as the party leader of the Labour Party, is you got the job with a big old mandate from party membership. But what the party seems to be crying out for, whether it's on disability payments and this issue, whether it's on Europe, what they're not hearing is you being a big beast in the jungle, smashing your chest and ripping into the Tories. It's being left to the Tories to do all the ripping for you. When you watched even Iain Duncan Smith, the quiet man, roaring like a lion yesterday on television, did a little part of you not think, I've really got to stop being so quiet, because actually people are mistaking my quiet nature for a lack of passion and a lack of fire in my belly?
Piers, I'm not clear where you're getting this stuff from. We have stood up to try and defend the worst off in society, the most vulnerable in society. We have attacked this budget for what it is. At the very core of it is unfairness and injustice within our society. That is what the Tory party is about. That is what Iain Duncan Smith's about. That is what the Chancellor of the Exchequer is about. His budget unravelled within hours of him presenting it, as his budgets usually do. Duncan Smith then had to resign. I think it's time George Osborne considered his position, because he's put forward something that simply does not add up.
You see, I'm seeing there a dash of passion. I'm seeing you getting a little bit wound up, a little bit angry. I think your party and the country, because you're the opposition, needs to see more of that from you. Do you accept that criticism?
No, I don't accept the criticism at all. Our party is a large party. Our party is an active party. Our party is campaigning all over the country on the basic issues of social justice and what kind of world we want to live in. Austerity is a political choice made by this government. Austerity hits the worst off and the most vulnerable within our society. We are standing up for something rather different and rather better. Duncan Smith's resignation is not the end of the story, because, as I said, Stephen Crabb is now being told, and I'm sure he'll carry out his duties, he's a very loyal servant of the Conservative Party, to find some cuts somewhere else in his budget. Some other vulnerable group, or indeed perhaps the same group, are going to be hit by this same government. What we need is George Osborne to come to Parliament and explain his position.